Hi YouTube viewers, welcome back to my next video from motherboard. Okay, so I have told that in this video we will be telling about the different components which are present in the motherboard. So motherboard, basically we have a socket where we place our CPU. So you can see the socket name is 478. It depends upon the motherboard. Different motherboard has different socket names. So basically that part is known as socket. So this is your socket and this is your north bridge. Just down to your socket there will be a north bridge and there will be another bridge known as south bridge. Just below to that we will be having a south bridge. So these are the three important parts. Next part is CMOS battery. So battery is connected so that time date is stored in that and passwords are also stored. Primary and secondary peripherals which are used to connect your hard disk and your CD writer. And next we have our ports. Different kinds of ports will be present. And next we have RAM slots, the SD RAM slot, DDR RAM slot, SD synchronized RAM and dynamic RAM. And next AGP card, AGP slot. AGP is nothing but your graphic slot. Next you have PCI slots. Next CNR slot you have. Next you have a BIOS, and next you have a ATX power connection, and we have a floppy drive connection, and next CD jack in. These are the different parts. Okay, we have these is the different parts. You can have a look or you can take a screenshot also if it is required. North bridge, south bridge, AGP, PCI, BOS, ports, sockets, SD RAM, DDR RAM, everything. Now we'll be going to look a deep inside the socket 478, nothing but a socket port. So that box, that area in which is in red in color is nothing but we'll be placing CPU heatsink fan, which I have already told you. So heatsink fan is placed upon that, and you have a locking lever which is used to lock the CPU. The CPU chip we will be placing on that and we will be locking it. So locking lever is very important. We should be very careful while we place our CPU. So CPU can be damaged, nothing but your processor can be damaged then. So close look, if you see, there are notches and socket name also 478. So socket name, that is, and pin indication. Whenever we place this CPU on this socket, we have to always see the pin indication. Let us go there. We have to always see the pin indication which is presented here. See here we have a pin indication here. So it is very important to see it and then place it. Then place the CPU. And locking lever is very important to lock the CPU, else it can burn out. Okay. So now we will be seeing bridges. North bridge, which is connected to the socket 478, and then your RAM is RAM slot, SD RAM and DDR RAM slot, and next to your AGP slot. We have for this only we have four connections. North bridge is connected to 4 modules, that is socket 478 socket, SD RAM and DDR RAM and AGP slot. And this south bridge is connected to, again south bridge is connected to 5 parts, that is your floppy, ports, PCI, BIOS and your primary and secondary. Okay, these are the 5 things which are connected by your south bridge. So next to that we have our CMOS battery. You can see that it is a lithium ion battery. Next we have primary and secondary. Then you have CMOS jumper. If you want to reset our password or anything, we can just use our CMOS jumper to reset the values. To reset these passwords, we can use this CMOS jumper. And next we have system fan connection. So there will be an external fan we will be placing. So for that power connection, we have that system for fan power connection. So we will be going to look at ports. This is the back view of the ports, and we will be seeing the front view of the ports. So in this we have different kinds of ports, as a mouse port, keyboard port, Ethernet port, USB port, serial port, parallel port, VGA port, and your game port and sound ports. These are the different ports which are present in the port section in the front view. And you have your two RAMs, SDRAM and DDR-RAM. How to know whether it is a SDRAM or DDR-RAM? By seeing the notches which are presented there, on the motherboard. So we can able to see. So if there are two notches, then we can say that it is a HDRAM. So if there are two notches, we can say that it is HDRAM. If there is a one notch present, notch is nothing but this area, which is highlighted in the circle. That area is nothing but your notch. So if there are two notches, then it is HDRAM. If it is one notch, then it is a DDR-RAM. Now let us go for a AGP slot, that is but accelerated graphic port. So graphic card, external graphic card, if you want to insert, then we will be inserting in this AGP port, accelerated graphic port. Next, it is a peripheral component interconnection. So peripheral component interconnection is mainly used if you see that some of our USB ports will be not be working, or it will be damaged. Then this kind of peripheral component interconnection, external peripherals, we can be added by inserting them inside PCI slot. Okay, if the your LAN inbuilt LAN that is present in your ports section, so it is destroyed or it is damaged, then you can use external LAN, which is a peripheral component, external LAN peripheral component. We can buy in market, and then we can connect it to the we can connect it this part. So next thing, you can see that communication and network riser. This is the communication network riser, CNR slot. So communication, for communicate any other peripherals, then we will be using that. Okay, BIOS is the very important part where system booting information is present in this BIOS. In this BIOS we will have the booting information which is presented. So ATX power connection and floppy connection. So ATX power connection is used for power supply of motherboard. To get power supply to the motherboard, this ATX power connection is used. If your motherboard is not turned on, or if you are not getting any lights from this motherboard, then you can see that your SMPS is having some problem, so that you can't drive this motherboard. Okay, some of them may think that the motherboard is not working or right. So don't think like that. Just you check your SMPS, the switch mode power supply, from which power is getting. If it is also working fine, then you check your processor whether it is connected properly or not. So similar kind of first primary measurements we can take before we give to any technician. Okay. Next, it is a floppy drive connector. If we have a floppy drive, then there will be a connection. So we will be taking this connection, and this is your CD in. Socket 478, North Bridge, South Bridge overview. If you see primary and secondary, next AGP slot, next your PCI slot, CNR slot, BIOS, next your ATX power connector, floppy connector, SDRAM, DDR-RAM, ports. This is the overview of. These are your all components which are present with their names. Okay, thank you for watching this video. For more videos, just subscribe my channel.